I am very upset. And I left the coffee machine at the last place that we stayed at. Now she's doing the walk of shame to go and get coffee. Damn you. Anyway, this inspired my pre-coffee video of things don't always go to plan. And this is why it's so important to have a plan B in your business, particularly when it comes to building wealth. So most people lose their mind when things don't go to plan, particularly when it has to do with their finances. They end up setting up an investment strategy or buying a property and the market doesn't go exactly as they plan. Maybe it comes off 5 or 10% or maybe even more, and they freak out and they panic sell and they end up costing themselves lots of money, and it's because they didn't have the right plan B in place. They didn't have the strategy in place to manage their risks, to manage their emotions, and make sure that they can have objective decision-making principles in all times, particularly in market downturns, because it seems to be people who haven't had a lot of experience that end up having the most impact and ultimately being the most impacted as a result of economic downturns. There's definitely going to be something coming. It's not going to be that far off. It's definitely going to be in the next couple of years. So you need to be prepared for it, because this is where the most experienced investors make a lot of money. So the first thing as part of your plan B is that you need to understand that markets go through cycles. Typically speaking, every 4 to 5 years, there is an economic downturn, some sort of recessionary or correction event that ultimately is going to result in your investments going down between 10 and anywhere up to 40%. Now, what you've got to realize is that the only time that you lose money is if you sell. So basically, imagine this. You own a home, it's $1 million, and somebody comes and knocks on the door with a briefcase and they say, hey, I've got $500,000 in this briefcase. If you move out tonight, then I will give you this money. What are you going to do? Are you going to take it? Probably not, right? Because you know that your property is worth $1 million. It would only be in a situation where you're extremely desperate, that you couldn't pass it up. You had to take the money because it was a life or death situation that you would ever take that money. The same thing happens with your investment portfolio. So the whole part of your plan B is about making sure that you've got the right perspective on your investments, that we get to a point when the market falls, you actually get excited because you're buying the market on sale. Second thing is having cash reserves. Most people end up fire selling their investments or doing silly things when the markets fall because they don't actually have enough emergency reserves to allow them to wait out that correction. This happened to a lot of people in the global financial crisis who were transitioning towards retirement, who had all of their money in equity markets and needed to be drawing down from their portfolio in order to maintain their lifestyle. And for this reason, it ultimately meant that they were forced to fire sell. So if they had the appropriate cash reserves, they had the right emergency fund, then it wouldn't have been so much of an issue. This also provides an opportunity for you to double down on your investments when the market falls. So for example, let's say the market does fall by 40%, your shares have gone from $1 to 60 cents, then you can almost buy double the amount of shares that you could at 60 cents than you could at $1. So it actually gives you a great opportunity for you to use a strategy called dollar cost averaging. And the last one, which is probably the most often overlooked, is making sure that you have the right risk management strategies in place, the right insurances, the right personal protection, the right business protection, because your decision making is going to be drastically different when you have the right peace of mind in play, where you're making decisions out of abundance as opposed to scarcity and fear. So it is an absolute game changer, and most people overlook it. So maybe your girlfriend leaves your coffee machine in the wilderness. Maybe something has happened to you out of the blue that has annoyed you. Whatever it might be in your wealth journey, you got to make sure that you've got the right plan A, you've got the right plan B, because not everything's going to go to plan. So if you want some help putting together your wealth strategy, both your plan A and your plan B, getting clarity, peace of mind and certainty around exactly where you're going, what you need to do, and how do you overcome certain tricky situations, then hit me up in the DMs. Love to have a chat. We'll speak to you soon.